Hi, I'm Donnie. I'm the founder of Chick-fil-A. In this video, what I want to do is walk you through what we call Leader OS. It's the operating system that we actually built inside of a Chick-fil-A. What we're doing in Chick-fil-A is we're building a movement for leadership transformation, not by handing you another program or project to run, but by actually growing leadership ecosystems that scale your Chick-fil-A or in your business by winning in the 5 critical success factors of any business. Also, we want to do this while helping you actually enjoy a remarkable life along the way. I'm going to do this in 3 parts. First, I want to walk you through the phases of a Chick-fil-A operation. Every operator climbs this mountain, and every phase brings with it its own set of challenges and its own opportunities and chances to grow. And then second, I want to give you the map. We call it 5-star OS, the parts of the business that it actually takes to build something remarkable. And along the way, we're going to do a scan that we can use to help you become remarkable in those 5 areas as well. I've done this for over 20 years inside of a Chick-fil-A, and now I am excited to be doing it alongside other operators. And then third, I want to give you the frame underneath it all, the balance of what we call the static and the fluid parts, because we're growing an ecosystem here, not just installing programs. So stay with me, and I'll show you how it works. So we want to start by using a mountain to describe the growth of a Chick-fil-A. Every level has its own chances and its own challenges. A lot of people will try to tell you that once you get everything set up, the problems go away. Well, that's just simply not true. Think about it like this. When I was single, I had single problems, so I wanted to date. Then I had dating problems. Then I wanted to get married. Then I had married problems. Then I had kids. Then I had kid problems. And now in our life, we're having to learn to live with no kids, in which the house comes with an entirely new, different set of challenges and opportunities. Here's the point. The point is that problems don't disappear. It's just that it changes the way we can grow. And every level of growth carries with it its own set of challenges and opportunities. And we want to climb right next to operators at every level, together with other operators, building this as a community. So here's the mountain. We start with sales levels because at each sales level, what we've discovered is that there's a challenge that exists, a change that's needed. The way you need to show up will change as well. Here's what's interesting about the Chick-fil-A model. When you come in, you have this grand opening. Often operators can get thrown into a level that you weren't ready for. And what this does, it forces you to handle more than one phase at a time just because of the volume that you're at. So when the grand opening's over and the newness wears off and the honeymoon is over, many operators experience this season of heavy pressure because they're trying to run several phases at once. So understanding that is helpful as you grow. So let's start where most businesses start, at the bottom, and then we're going to begin to work our way up. And every time you hit one of these milestones, something inside your organization and operation will have to change in all 5 of the critical success factors. So the first level is growing from $0 to $15,000 a day, which is roughly to $4 million a year. The opportunity in this phase of operations is that we need to start to bring order to chaos. It's a season of stability. It's cultivating the basics and setting that expectation for the guest experience. In this season, we say that the operator is stabilizing. It is a fun and exciting season, but it's very unsteady. So you're right there on the front lines, hands-on in operation, and you're beginning now to build 1 to 3 key leaders that is going to help you establish the order and the foundation of your business. Then we move to the second level, which is growing to $20,000 a day or $6 million a year. So now you've got some stability, yet now you have to move to consistency. You move from you and a small few to now making great repeatable inside the entire operation. It's a season of saying the same thing over and over and over. And for the operator, we describe this as a grinding season because repeating yourself is exhausting. And it often feels like in this season that you're stuck. You're still on the front line, But now you are developing 3 to 6 key leaders. And then we move to $25,000 a day or $8 million a year. Now that we've experienced some stability and consistency, this season, the operator begins to move to cutting drag from the execution. You're starting to see more inefficiencies. And because you have been so intertwined into the daily operations, you weren't able to see it all before. But in this season, you have to begin to step off the floor. You still come in to check the experiences and to check with your new team members, but you're not positionally necessary. We describe this season for the operator as refining, because now that you can see more, you see the areas that need to be cleaned up. You're now starting to build a layer of leadership with 6 to 9 core leaders that are beginning to pick up the mantle of holding the line and duplicating the expectations that you have been creating as you've been growing. Next, we're going to jump to $35,000 a day, $11 million a year. It's the first $10,000 jump because in this season, sales you're going to find move faster due to the structure that you've established. But now you're going to need to build a structure that can bear the growth that you are experiencing. In this season, the operator is all about scaling. You realize that now that you can't do it all. So you have to scale. Usually you have no less than 2 layers, a director and supervisors or managers and shift leaders, whatever you want to call them. You are removed from the day-to-day operations, and for the first time, you are solely leading a team of leaders that are now directly engaged in the customer experience. I don't want you to miss this. This is a season that many operators begin to lose some of their identity, because they fail to see the growth that is necessary in them. So you've stepped back from the line, and now you're having to work through your directors. And then we come to scaling to $45,000 a day or $14 million a year. In this season, your focus shifts to raising leaders and releasing them. By now, you've created quite a team. But at this point, you are beginning to wrestle with the question that your leaders are wrestling with as well. Is this their career for them, or do they want something more? Learning how to let great people go so that they can flourish can be very difficult. This is why we say this season is a season of intense development. You are now officially having to build depth, a bench, so that as people flourish in life, you are able to celebrate their growth because the vacancy will now provide opportunity for a new generation of leaders. The operator here is all about multiplication. You are moved away from daily ops almost entirely, and now you are beginning to lead leaders who lead leaders. And that is a very different and difficult situation for so many. And finally, you've reached the top. Well, at least you thought you did. And it's here that we're going to grow past $45,000 a day or $14 million a year. We're at the top of the chain in sales now. And now we have to focus on guarding our foundation while simultaneously inventing new opportunities. You see, when you're at the top, there are not many to look at for advice because you are now mostly looking out. This season for the business is what we call the season of stewardship. You have to learn to steward the business you are given and that you've built, while also stewarding new, often unexplored opportunities. The operator at this level, we call them innovators. You're now leading from vision. You're building your people, and the building of your people becomes the responsibility. You're creating a place where leaders love, where there is a bigger vision, a brighter future, and a better boss. And just when you think, man, I've done it, you look up at the top of the mountain and you realized it's a false summit because there are new peaks on the horizon. These new peaks are going to cause you to need to change. And you see, this is the journey that I've watched over the last 20 years. But there are 2 particular places that I have seen and experienced operators get stuck. 2 big walls, 2 smaller false summits, if you will, that often require a necessary change in operations and leadership. The first is when you get to that $20,000 a day. This is where you've got clear direction, hiring and training that works, a guest experience that people enjoy, and you have steady sales. From $0 to $20,000 a day is where you learn to build a business that works. But then you come to that second place, $35,000 a day. If you haven't built systems you can repeat by the time you get here, the business cannot grow, because now it's going to move from you holding the line to your leaders holding the line. And without structure, that's virtually impossible. This is where you have to build a business that runs great every day, even when you're not there. From 20,000 to 35,000, you're building a business that is able to repeat excellence. And then when you get to 45,000 and up, you're building a business that will outlast you. So that's the journey. So now let's talk about how we help you do that. First with our map, then with our compass. Hey, by the way, if you've already seen enough and you want to know how to work together with us, then click the link in the description that says Let's Work Together. It's going to take you to a page where you can sign up or you can book a call. A couple things I want you to know. To sign up, we keep the numbers small on purpose. You might ask why. Because we're in a growth phase as well. And since every operator works right with me, we can just take a few operators, 3 a month, actually. If you've got questions or you just want to talk, you can also book a call from that page as well. But know this, we don't have a sales team. I don't do sales calls. So first, you'll get a call with me. Second, we'll walk through your story to see if we're a fit. There's absolutely no pressure at all. I look forward to seeing you on the other side. So here's our map for how we help operators grow a real leadership ecosystem inside of their business. Someone once said that there are 2 names on every name badge, and both matter. So we want to start by helping you see your business, which is the top name on the badge, so that we can build the structure that lets your people thrive. And it starts with, what is the goal of this? What's in the center? We want to help you build a business that we call a 5-star business. A business that you enjoy owning and that everyone else rates as 5 stars. One that provides for you, fills you up, and serves you with joy. We built 5-star as the map to get you to the next level based on where you are and how high you want to climb. Look, if that's not what you want, you will not want to work with us, because what we see all the time are operators winning in one area and then quietly struggling in the others. But that's not the goal. Now, we have found that there are 5 problems that get in the way. There are team problems, guest problems, sales problems, money problems, and owner problems. Let's start with the team. When your team is a fire to fight, you hire fast and you lose fast. Every open spot feels like an emergency. Turnover is eating your profit. You promote your best worker, and then you watch them struggle as a leader. Then second, we move to guest problems. The experience you want is in your head, not in real life. You can feel what makes your place special, but you can't say it clearly. Your team can't do it the same every time. You lack consistency. And when your leaders walk out the door, the experience walks out with them. And then we go to sales problems. People don't really see you, so sales are up and down. You're finding it costs more to bring in new guests and they're not coming back. You're found, but you're not chosen. Which leads us to our money problems, because even when sales are up, your profit can be low. Or you don't really know your numbers. You make calls on half the picture and you call it experience. You've got no plan past this year. And then we have the owner problems. And honestly, this is probably the one that most owners struggle with. You're the lid. The business runs you instead of you running it. You're the bottleneck. You built a business that owns you instead of one that you own. And you've got no plan to grow yourself. If any of those hit home, let's talk about the fix, because we have built a system for each one. For the team, we built Labor OS. It builds a real leadership team, and you know it's working when you've got a deep bench. For the guest experience, we built Signature OS. It builds a feel so special that your guest scores land in the top 10% of the chain. And you know it's working when you're seeing remarkable moments every day. For our sales, we built Magnet OS. It builds a business that people are drawn to, where sales grow. Customers pay full price. They come back more often, and they tell their friends about you. And you know it's working when your happy guests are the ones spreading the word. For our money challenges, we built Steward OS. It helps you to be a good steward of everything that's been entrusted to you and everything you've been given. And you know it's working when you've built real profit, a steady rhythm, and wealth that reaches past the four walls of your business. And then for you, we built Anchor OS, where you're provided for, filled up, and serving with joy. The first thing we chase is a week away for your business. 1 week, no calls, no text, and it runs without you. It does that because of the systems that you've put in place. So when your team is leading, your guests are talking, your sales are growing, your profit is climbing, and you're enjoying it all, I'm going to tell you the business seems to get simpler. So now I want to walk you through the how. Here's the most important part. The goal for this isn't to learn our model, but it's to use it as a scan for your business. Think of it like a recipe. Every one of these pillars are going to provide you with recipe pieces for you to gauge. And if you get the pieces for your team is going to work. If you get the pieces for your guest experience, then you're going to win in the guest experience area as well. So I'll give you each pillar and how we handle it. And then I want to ask you a question so you can score yourself. As we go through this, draw this out and mark each pillar. Green, you've got this. Yellow, you're okay, but we could use some help. Or red, hey, we're really struggling here. And I would say score yourself honestly on each one. And at the end of this video, we're going to be able to diagnose your business together and actually find out where we should work together. Are you ready? All right, let's start. Okay, let's begin with Labor OS. This is the team side. The problem was that your team is a fire to fight. And the goal we want to get to is a deep leadership bench. And the first pillar that we work through is find. Because when someone quits, most operators scramble. There's no pool of people, no plan. Hiring turns into a lottery that you keep playing. So the way we handle this is we plan our hiring before we actually ever need it. We can see the empty seats coming before it actually opens so that we're never caught off guard. We want to build a simple way to find people from lots of different places so we're never stuck fishing in one pool, if you will. And then once we've got a full list of people, we're able to pick them using a clear scorecard that anyone on your team can use, not based on gut feelings that changes with your mood. Let me show you one tool just so that you can see how we really do this. Every pillar has many, many tools, by the way. We call it channel stacking. On one sheet, we list every place that you find team members, and we're going to rate each of these channels in one way. Which brings the most people, which brings the best people, and which keeps working with little effort. That one page we provide will show you where to spend your time and where to stop. So here's the questions. Can you see your hiring needs coming? Can you find people from more than one place? And can you pick them with a real scorecard? All right, green if you got all three, yellow if it's shaky, red if hiring is all a mess. And I'm going to be honest here. I'm going to mark this red. It's a huge one for most operators. Next, we move to pillar 2. Okay, so you found them. So what do you do with the people you hire, and why do they seem not to work out? Why do you always find out too late? So the way we handle this is we make the job description crystal clear. It's not just a list of tasks, but it's who in charge of what. And then we check early and often whether they're really becoming one of us and buying into our culture inside of 90 days, not a year later. And we keep working the standard until it becomes second nature for them, something they don't even have to think about. So, do you have clear job descriptions and ownership, a real 90-day check-in plan, and a team that holds the standards so tight that a new person doesn't get a vote on it? Red, yellow, green. I'm going to go green here, which leads us to our third pillar, flourish. Do your people have a real path for growth, built 3 layers deep? The way we handle this is we give people a clear path to grow with honest feedback and the tools that we give them to help them be better. We build a place that people actually want to stay, where they feel like they belong. And when a top leader does move on, they leave ready for what's next, not feeling held back. They can walk back in as a happy guest. Now, Real world. I'm talking about your top leaders here. So a bench 3 people deep, a clear path that they're growing on, and goodbyes that are really just life moving forward that are celebrated well. All right, red, yellow, green. I'm going to go yellow for this right now. So here's the deal. When you find, form, and flourish, you will build a deep bench that can run with excellence. And if you do that, you're well on your way to a 5-star business. So now we move to Signature OS. This is the guest side. The problem that we're dealing with is what makes you special in your restaurant. And the goal is to get you inside of the top 10% of guest scores. That's driven by remarkable moments. And the first pillar here we call sense. This is about knowing what makes you different and writing it down. Most operations are just ringing up orders transactionally and not building moments. The guest walks away with a story either way, by the way. So the question is, did we plan it? So the way we handle this is we learn to really see the guest, not just the order that they place, but what they actually need underneath it. We get very clear on what makes your place different and the why behind how you want to do things. And then we begin to map out the story that we want every guest to walk through, even past this one visit. So the question is, can your team, especially your leaders on the floor, feel what the guest really needs? Are they able to show what makes you different? And are they able to walk them through a story on purpose? Red, yellow, green. I'm going to put red here because most places just wing it. That leads us to our next pillar, serve. Now that you can see it, you deliver it. Serve is about giving the same great experience no matter the time or the day or the time of the day. The way we handle this is we make the experience the same every time, no matter the shift, no matter the person, or no matter whether you're even in the building. And then we begin to build in small little surprises, moments that people can remember. And because we move fast, it means that we're going to mess things up sometimes. So we have to train a way to make it right so that our guests leave feeling better about themselves when they leave than when they arrived. Because it's all about how you make people feel, especially when you drop the ball. So a steady experience that guests can count on, real moments that will surprise them and delight them, and a comeback so good that the mistake actually made things better. Are you red, yellow, or green? I'm going to go green here. And then this leads us to our third pillar, which is sharpen. This is how you keep your edge. It's watching so your special feel doesn't slowly fade as you grow. Because listen, either your culture shapes the new person or the new person will shape your culture. And what we have seen is that whoever's stronger wins. So the way we handle this is we watch for early warning signs, what guests say, how they act, what your team notices. And once a month, we sit with what we're seeing. We spot this pattern and we pick one thing to fix. And we build the habits that keep this special feel strong, even as we begin to add more people. We do this with a simple monthly check that we call the pattern brief. So you can catch a slip before it ever shows up in your score. So are you able to catch the signs early? Do you have the habits of fixing things? And do you have a culture strong enough to hold new people? Red, yellow, green. Let's put yellow here. So when you sense, serve, and sharpen, you're going to land in the top 10% of the chain on guest scores. And when you do that, you're well on your way to a 5-star business. All right, next we move to Magnet OS. This is the sales side. The problem is people don't really see you. So the goal is to make a business that people are drawn to, that grows by word of mouth. Most sales advice that you hear here is just do more ads, more posts, more emails, be louder. And the idea is that if someone isn't choosing you, they just need to hear from you more. Well, that's partially right. But for us here at Chick-fil-A, there's a little bit of difference because people don't skip us because they haven't heard about us enough. They often skip us because our place isn't pulling them in on its own. Being louder, that just makes people tune you out more. And it costs more. It brings back less. And it eventually will wear you out. So Magnet OS is looking at doing something more. Instead of only shouting louder, we make your place a place where people are drawn to. This leads us to our first pillar, draw. It's about being easy to find when people go looking for a place like yours. Because if they can't find you, you're going to be stuck living off walk-bys and word of mouth. And both of those hit a ceiling fast. So the way we handle this is we make sure that people can find us when they search for us. When they search for us on the map, in reviews, in what other people are saying around town, and in AI. We help you stand out so you're not just one more chicken place. And we build real proof, reviews, a good name, some wins, so that people trust you enough to give you a try. So, are you easy to find when people search? Are you clearly different from the rest? And are you backed by real proof? Are people coming back through the door? Red, yellow, green. Let's go green. This brings us to our next pillar, earn. Earn is where people know you, but they really can't tell you apart from the place down the road. Because look, when you look like everybody else, people will pick whatever's cheap, close, or the first thing they think of, and you will lose to all three. So the way we handle this is we help you make one clear promise, the specific thing that you're good at. Not, hey, we got to be good at everything. We want to take the bumps out of that first visit so that it's easy for people to try you. And we want to build a simple path that turns our first-time guest into a third-time guest. So do you have a promise clear enough to win the right yes, an easy first visit, and a real path back for a second and third visit? You're going to see this, by the way, in your ticket size. Red, yellow, green. Let's go yellow. Our next pillar is hold. It's about keeping the guests that come. Do they come back or do they disappear? A one-time guest costs you everything to get and gives you almost nothing in return. But when a guest keeps returning, everyone you win keeps paying for years. So the way we try to approach this is we bring people back on purpose. We want to become a part of their week, a habit, not a one-stop shop. And we help your happiest guest bring their friends so that the word spreads on its own. So guests coming back without being chased, a place that's part of their routine, and happy guests that are sending other guests. Oh, your app numbers are going to show this. So red, yellow, or green. Let's go green here. Because here's the thing. When we get this right, it's the opposite of pushy. Because people will feel drawn to you, toward you, not shoved. You spend less to bring them in because they keep coming back and telling their friends about you. And you're going to build a name in the community that no one can just buy their way past. And this becomes magnetic. So now we are going to our next operating system, StewardOS. This is the money side. If you remember, we said that the problem here is that we have strong sales but thin profit. So the goal is now that you've got the sales, but the money isn't adding up at the bottom, we want to build real profit inside of your store that creates a steady weekly rhythm and wealth that will grow past your four walls. We don't want to be busy about making money, but we want to be smart with it, from the menu board all the way to what you leave your family. And the first pillar that we talk about is profit. It's about the money that you actually keep. Because for a store like ours, cash usually isn't the problem. It rings up at the register. But keeping it, that is. Strong sales can hide a thin bottom line when your prices, your menu, and your waste runs wild. So the way we approach this is we treat your prices like a choice, not an accident. We want to set our prices and our menu on purpose. We want to watch our two biggest costs, which are food and people, together and in real time. Not in two separate piles after the month is already over. And we need to cut the waste and the little leaks that quietly bleed your money away. If we do that, then strong sales will turn into money that we keep. So, do you have prices that you actually manage, food and labor costs that you watch out as one number, and waste that you're really counting? Red, yellow, green. Let me put red. Our next pillar is pulse, your weekly rhythm. Because right now, every week may seem like a scramble. You're chasing volume instead of running a beat. So the way we handle this is we want to look ahead and call this week before it hits. And then we want to line up our team to match it. Not too many people on a slow day, not too few people during a rush. And we need to pay our team in a way that rewards them for the profit that they help create. So can you call the week ahead of time? Do you have the staff to match it? And are you paying in a way that rewards profit? Red, yellow, green. Let's say yellow. This leads us to our 12th pillar, plant. Plant is about building something past the store, because you can make good money and still build nothing outside the single place that carries all your risk. So the way we want to handle this is we want to set money aside for our next move. We want to protect what we've built and take care of our family. And we want to grow wealth for the long haul. So do you have the profit you make today? Does it become something that lasts? Even something you can give away to the people who need it? So do you have money set aside for what's next? Is your business and family protected? And is your wealth growing outside of the store? Red, yellow, green. Let's go green here. Steward OS is for operators who've already fixed their leaders and their team, and they're ready to get smart with the money that they make in a way that lasts for years and even generations to come. And now we come to our final operating system, and I believe our most important, the you side. The problem is that you're the lid. The goal is a week away, where you feel provided for, filled up, and serving with joy. And this is the one that most operators struggle with. You. The business runs you. You're the bottleneck. You built something now that owns you, where being worn out feels normal, and you've got no plans to grow yourself. Anchor OS comes alongside you and helps you lead from a calm, steady center, clear on who you are, whose you are, and sure of where you're going and still growing. Our first pillar here is character. A lot of business problems really are character problems in disguise. Characters give you a clear set of values that you will actually live by. So every other choice has something solid to lean on. And the way we handle this is we help you see yourself clearly, all the way down to the root, to the heart. So who you are matches what people actually get from you. We help you write it down. Who am I? What I will do and what I won't do. And we build simple daily habits that keeps you living it, not just believing it. So do you really know yourself? Are your values written down and known by your team? And do you have habits that keep you living them out on a regular basis? Red, yellow, green. I love this one with operators. I'm going to put yellow. Our next pillar is compass. Most operators are heroes in the daily stuff, but they're often missing a big picture. Compass comes alongside and helps build the habit of working on the business, not just in it. So the way we handle this is we help you write down where you're going, your goals, your steps, and that short list of things you'll say no to. We give you a simple way to make decisions that will line up with that plan instead of just going with your gut. And we are going to build a regular check-in so the plan stays alive and it doesn't quietly fall apart. So do you have a written plan? Do you have a real way to make decisions? And do you have a regular check-in that keeps that alive? Red, yellow, green. I'm going to put yellow here. And final pillar is capacity. You can keep grinding, but grinding alone will hit a ceiling. And growing all by yourself means you never built past you. So the way we handle this is we want to build a pace that you can actually keep. One that runs on a plan, not just willpower. We help you see where you are as a leader and what the next step actually looks like. And we want to give you a way to grow other people so that you're actually building something bigger than just you. So do you have a pace that keeps you going, a clear next step for you as a leader, and are people actually growing because of you? Red, yellow, green. Let's mark that green. Okay, so now you have a full scan of your business. 15 pillars, some green, some yellow, some red. Look at your chart. If there were 3 levers that you could pull over the next 30, 60, and 90 days that would make the biggest impact, the biggest difference, I want you to circle those 3. And so what we just did is we found the things that are holding you back. And behind every one of these pillars, by the way, there is a set of tools and playbooks and systems that we can drop into your business so that wherever you are, the path is simple. The systems are built. We can plug them in where you need them the most. So the question becomes, how does this actually work? You've got the map. So now let me show you the compass underneath it all. Okay, now we're going to provide you the compass, or the frame that is behind everything we do, and it keeps us all pointed true north. It's built on 2 basic ideas, static and fluid. A lot of leadership training that we have found is static, and static matters. By static, I mean learning in the moment. Think of it like a photo, a snapshot of where you are at right now. And every photo is already history the second you take it. So we start by looking at where you are based on where you've been. That is why we have built a suite of checkups. The first is vitals. It's a 45-question checkup where you give your team across 5 key areas so that we can see the best places to get better. And out of that, we have built a series of workshops, soon to be webinars. Each one answers a specific challenge that the checkup turns up. But a photo only shows you a moment. We have discovered that you also need something that grows while you're in motion. So we built 2 fluid ongoing parts. The first is our leadership development program. It's an online bite-sized digital learning platform where your leaders can grow. And then secondly, we wanted to provide a cultural element of growth that places everyone in a community of leaders who are wanting to grow as well. Because here's something that we have learned. Leaders grow best when they're surrounded by the environment of growth. All 4 of these are wrapped around the 5-star OS so that we are always growing the business and ourselves together. And when we do this, it truly becomes an ecosystem of leadership transformation. I want to sincerely thank you for watching. If you want to find out more about working with us, I want you to click the link in the description below that says, "Let's work together." It will take you to a page where you can either sign up or you can book a call. We have no funnels. It's just a simple offer. If it's for you, fill out the application. And if it's not, we wish you the very best. So you know what to do. I'll see you soon.